Welcome back to Talk Miley to Me. I'm Molly.
I'm Becky.
And I like how we always do like a head tilt, like, and then we just look like goons. Like people that are watching this are like, yes, we can attest.
Yeah,
they look stupid. So if you're not watching the podcast, that's what you're missing out on, is our crazy faces. But we are back with another episode, another week of the Something Beautiful era, and we haven't gotten any announcements for anything else yet as of April 7th. I was such a clown. I just want to say.
Debunked your little prediction there. I thought it was a little too good to be true.
No, I was thinking about it today and I was like, what is going on inside? Like, it's like that TikTok sound. What is going on inside of her head? Like, that's me. I'm like, why did I do that? Like, what happened? There was a glitch. There was like a glitch because now I'm looking back and that was literally just a few days ago, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we recorded on like Friday. Yeah.
And we're recording a few days after on Monday. And I'm like, why did I say that? Like, I'm such a doofus. Yeah, I don't think she's going to release one song a week leading up to her album. Sue me.
I do not think so. Which is fine because we're still...
Yeah. Our friend Evan was enjoying. Like, yeah, clowns.
Oh.
As in me, the clown.
Whoa. Singular clown, please.
Singular clown. Yeah, even you were like during that,
for this case, that recording. At least.
For this case. I'll take the blame this time. So no announcements, which is actually like kind of nice. Because like I said, I was very overwhelmed.
Truly. I mean, it was just, there was so much to take in. And like I said, we're still enjoying. So I'm good for right now.
I completely agree. So that just, I want to ask you this question, and then we can kind of get into what this podcast is going to be about today, which is a main focus on Miley and her team. The streets are like, there's two sides, okay? There's the side of fandom. There's like the Smilers that are like, art, not charts. We don't care about the charts. We don't care if she's not debuting that well with End of the World. Whatever. She doesn't need to be on social media. She's been working her whole life. There's that side. And then there's the side of the Smilers that are like, Columbia, what the hell are you doing? We need her to be doing interviews. There's no promo happening. She's not even on her own accounts. The Instagram captions are weird. Why is she posting in third person? So there's like two sides. Before we dive into that, this is what I've been thinking about today is, do you think her releasing Prelude, Something Beautiful before releasing End of the World affected End of the World's debut so far?
Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, no, I don't think so because I don't know. Do you think that it affected? Well, okay, wait. Wow, that's a lot.
Well, it's hard. I know. I was thinking about this on my run today and I'm like, I wonder if that's what kind of, I don't know, because not many people do that, right? They don't release two songs off the album and then push the single right afterwards.
Right. Yeah, you almost never see that.
I
think that it, as far as GP numbers, I don't think that would have changed it much. But like my personal numbers, my time is now split between two songs, right?
That's true.
And had it been only one, maybe I would have that one on repeat even more than I already did. But like, you also kind of need another song in between to get the numbers up on the charts.
That's true.
If that's what you're like trying to do.
Yeah. Which one are you streaming more? Something Beautiful or
End of the World?
Okay.
What about you?
No, I do. Probably End of the World right now. Yeah. But I'm still torn. I don't know if I might like Something Beautiful more than End of the World.
No, I honestly think that I might as well. I just think that End of the World is like more boppy to like just have on all the time. And obviously I'm walking around the office at work just all the time. And everyone's like, Becky, now it's stuck in my head. I'm like, good.
It's like comparing apples to oranges. Like, they're like two completely different songs.
You are so right.
They don't even really
oranges
like fit
with those
together.
Two. They don't fit together. They don't seem to flow next to each other. So I'm really interested to see what happens with the rest of the album and where both of them fit in with what else is coming.
Because that's a big frustration on the streets. The streets equaling x.com, twitter.com, whatever you want to call it, is the fandom, some of the fandom is really upset because End of the World is not doing the best, I guess, with views, with streams. I mean, it's doing great, but I think there's a lot of comparing it to Flowers, a lot of her
I
past stuff.
was I was worried that this would happen. Were you?
Yeah, I guess I was just so excited about the new Miley era and like the new music that we were getting that I didn't really think about it too much. But inevitably, this always happens with every single era. This happened with Endless Summer Vacation for a minute because then Flowers blew up and it was like there was no complaints after that.
Right. And no, I wasn't personally worried about the numbers. What I was worried
Yeah.
about was that this kind of revolt would happen because of the numbers. Because how do you follow up Flowers with anything else and expect Flowers did so many like records and never before seen numbers. And so
Yeah.
there's it's going to be rare that Miley ever does that again. It's going to be rare that another artist can do that again, right? So
Yeah.
to have the very next lead single do the same thing is like, I think that was like dreaming a bit, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I can see both sides. I can see
Yeah.
why people are upset because they want you want your artist, you want people to know what your favorite artist is doing. Like you want them to succeed in every way.
Yeah.
You want a
Yeah.
lot of people to know about the art. So I understand that. But it's just like I'm playing tug of war with myself. Cuz at the same time though, then there's also fans that are going absolutely balls to the wall crazy, adding Tish Cyrus, adding Brandy Cyrus,
Even
Bradley
Dom
Kenneth,
Purcell.
Dom Purcell. You know Dom's like, what the hell? Like, I just want to
Yeah.
surf and hang
Right.
out with Tish. Like, so crazy. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, guys, this is going to make her, if anything, never want to come back to social media because
No,
you guys are
literally.
absolutely insane.
Yeah, and I get exactly what you were saying. Like, yes, obviously, I want the world to love and appreciate the work that Miley's doing, just like I do. I want to share it with the world and everyone else to enjoy it with me. But hi, artists make things for their fans. She made it for you. Are you enjoying it or not? That's where
Well,
I'm at right
especially
now with
this.
people online that are so
Yeah.
upset.
Yes, because especially this far into her career, it's like she's not a newcomer. Like she's not needing to like prove herself at all.
No. And I
And
think that we
it's
talked about this last time, but you don't see Taylor Swift, Beyonce, well, really, those two, you don't see them doing the promo. They don't have
yeah,
to. They're Taylor Swift and Beyonce. She is Miley Cyrus, right?
yeah. And I mean, on devil's advocate to that, I do think it would be smart for her to do press. I do think it would be smart of her to be more organic on social media. I think someone said the last selfie we had of her on social media was from like 2022 or something, which is
I believe
insane to
that.
think about. It was when she was like going out on stage when she was on that festival tour. And that was weirdly enough right before she like, or right around the time she signed with Columbia Records.
Oh, okay.
So people are kind of connecting those dots to where as soon as
Hmm.
she kind of hopped on the Columbia train, she stopped posting as herself. She kind of like got off social media. Isn't that
Okay.
weird?
That is weird. I never put that together. Are other artists signed under Columbia? Do we notice trends like that with them?
That's a good question. I know Beyonce
I
is, right?
Yeah, Beyonce is definitely Columbia, and I don't follow her, but I can't imagine that she's making super personal posts.
I don't think she is. I think she is making them a little bit more personal than Miley for sure. So like I said, when you're trying to get to like a position that Miley's in or Taylor's in or Beyonce's in, I guess from the outside looking in, like I could see why they maybe just don't put as much effort into it. But I really would love to see her back on social media. Do you think she'll ever get to a place where she's even just like Plastic Hearts era, like where she was posting selfies and Bright Minded when she was going live and she would do her Instagram live sometimes? Do you think we'll ever get to that place again? Like realistically?
It's definitely a possibility, with better than anyone that Miley will change her mind. But the thing about her is like she will stick with a vibe, she will stick with a persona throughout an era. And right now, it's not that.
I think she might be attending the Met Gala this year.
It would be crazy if she didn't, being that this entire era has been so high fashion, right?
So high fashion. Speaking of high fashion, we're going to be diving deep into her Vogue cover story with her stylist, Bradley Kenneth, that talks all about all the something beautiful looks. So we've got all the Mugler, all the Mugler. We're going to be diving deep into that on our Patreon episode this week.
A
So if you want to,
record-breaking amount of Mugler.
yes, yes. And I do love that like Bradley Kenneth has been there. He's been her stylist like what seems like forever.
One of her
Um,
gays.
yeah, one of her gays. So that'll be really fun to like look into. I haven't really looked at it yet, but I've had a lot of people send it to us saying,
Yeah.
please talk about this. And we're not really like fashionista girlies, but we like to act like we are. So
Absolutely. I will judge.
absolutely.
I will be the judge of all of that without knowing a single thing of what I'm saying. I kind of can pronounce the name of the designer, so we're
I
there.
mean, you're already ahead of me. I was calling it Mugler.
Right. So
I
take
can't help
that.
it. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll be talking about that. But what I want to lead into the main theme of this episode is have you heard about the prisoner stuff with Dua Lipa? With
What's
Dula
going
Peep?
on? What is going
Guys,
on?
this is what okay. So I first let me just say I found this Twitter thread that I found was very interesting. It's kind of blowing up a little bit. It's titled, and I'll put the screenshot here. It's from at Austin David Lynn on x.com if you want to go find it. A controversial thread on why people think Miley Cyrus is and has always been controlled and how her career is being sabotaged by her team after the release of her single End of the World. So we've seen these kinds of like threads on Twitter before, and we've seen people talk about this before. And I've always been very like hesitant about it because like you just don't know. But after the Dula Peep stuff happened, I'm like, okay, let's look at this for a minute because what the actual is happening? So I see people sending it to us. I see it on Instagram. I see it on Twitter. I see screenshots that Prisoner, by Miley Cyrus featuring Dua Lipa, is now saying on Dua Lipa Spotify, Prisoner by Dua Lipa featuring Miley Cyrus. And I'm like, oh, it's just a glitch. Spotify's glitching. No,
I
this is
didn't
legitimately like they meant for this to happen.
Yes, I didn't believe it until I saw it with my own eyes. I was like, oh, they're just, the way that we make lies to promote Miley Cyrus. I thought this was one of those. I thought it
Yeah.
was screenshots that people were taking and distributing. No. On Plastic Hearts, the album, on Spotify, by Miley Cyrus, it says Prisoner, featuring Miley Cyrus.
What's the actual
What is going on?
What is going on? So this is what's going on. I had no idea this was even happening. We knew there was like some weird tension between Miley and Dua, and like we didn't really know what it was, but we could just tell when they were out in public together. They like unfollowed each other a year or two ago. They were spotted out in public not talking to each other after they were seemingly close when they were making Prisoner.
Right.
So apparently there was a legal battle between their labels, mostly, over the rights to their collab Prisoner. The track first dropped on Miley's Plastic Hearts, but later appeared on Dua Lipa's Future Nostalgia, sparking a dispute.
What?
Fast forward a few months, the drama is officially over. Both are now credited on the song. However, a judge ruled that on Miley's album, Dua will be listed as the main artist, and on Dua's album, it's Miley who will get top billing.
What? That might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Do we think this is legit?
Oh, wait, I didn't know that this song went on Future Nostalgia. Did you?
I think maybe the deluxe version. Let's look. The Moonlight edition, I think. But weird. On this edition, it's saying Prisoner featuring Dua Lipa.
That's what it... Yes.
Did it get fixed?
Because if you now go to Plastic Hearts, it'll say Prisoner featuring Miley Cyrus, and then it'll list Dua Lipa, then Miley Cyrus. That doesn't make any sense.
Why wouldn't they make it like, yeah? Because that's exactly what this little article says too. Like,
yeah.
Why wouldn't you make it, if it's on Plastic Hearts, it's by Miley featuring Dua Lipa. And then if it's on Future Nostalgia, it's not that I think this should happen, but if we have to do this, why wouldn't it be Dua Lipa featuring Miley on Dua's album?
Right. How can you be featured on your own album?
That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
What? I've never heard of this happen. Why would?
So
Because
that's
of
what I
they're on two
mean.
different labels? Doesn't that happen? That has to happen all the time.
I know. I have no idea. I truly have no idea. It's the wildest shit to me. And then that's what seeing that, and then on top of all this talk about Miley not being on social media since signing to Columbia and like all these other little things adding up, I'm like, something is weird. Hi, Editing Molly is here, and I want to make a disclaimer that this was recorded literally the day before Miley came out and actually posted from herself and not in third person. We're going to talk about how she hasn't done that, and just ignore that. Just ignore that, because she literally came the next day after we recorded this and was like, love Miley. So
I'm looking up the song credits right now.
yeah, to see like
Okay, they
who
both wrote it.
Okay,
So
but
they're both writers, but like,
so don't people do that in collaborations all the time?
right?
And there's
At
some
least
kind of
then
agreement.
just like list both. Like on Two Most Wanted, it doesn't say featuring
True.
Miley, doesn't it? Just like also by Miley.
Yeah, I think it says like by Beyonce and Miley.
Guys, I'm pissed.
Dua Lipa, you're on my shit list. I love Dua, but what the hell? What the hell's happening here? I wanted to like kind of just go through this Twitter thread.
Yeah.
And talk about some of these things, because I think with all of these scenarios happening throughout her career adding up, something does seem off. And I don't know if it's necessarily that Miley is being controlled. I think she's a very independent person, but something is not right. Like there's something going on, because although Miley is like a huge artist, she definitely sometimes I think she should be as big as Beyonce or Taylor.
Right.
Whether she wants to or not, I just feel like she should be. Like I said, this thread is by @AustinDavidLynn on X, so credit to him. And the thread is kind of starts off with this clip from Sorry We're Cyrus.
Molly would say things like, "Mom, you've got to because it was something I've talked about openly. I went through a really hard time last year. A lot of anxiety, a lot of just really struggled last year. And it was the first time I wasn't in every single Miley meeting. And, she'd be like, Mom, like, I need you, like, you need, like, no one's listening. And like, when you say it, they listen. And at that point, I was just like, to hear Miley say that, because she's so intelligent and is just so freaking smart. And to hear her even believe in me in that way and say, my team doesn't listen until you say it. And I looked at that because I had 8 months to reflect, because I was just in a really hard time in my life. And with Dom, I was just like, shit, like I did really for the last 20 years immerse myself into the role of being a manager to the now one of the biggest stars in the world.
That's crazy.
That's kind of crazy to think about too, because you wouldn't think of it like that. But I guess if Tish has been there since the beginning, like since Hannah Montana, she's always been like kind of putting her foot down, I'm sure.
Makes sense. But I mean, that is crazy to think about, being who we think that we know Miley is, right? Like her stage presence, her seems to be like really strong-headed and would be able to stand up to people in a room like that. It's kind of crazy.
It is weird to think about.
Also, to think about it that way, if her mom has been there with her, she's had managers from 12 years old, that would be hard to just like, even at 32, being done this for 20 years, that would still be hard to take that into your own hands. Like, yeah.
I completely agree. So this thread talks about, how she was controlled during Disney Channel.
Which is obvious.
Obvious, but even when we had Ashley Spencer on to talk about Disney High last year, she like interviewed a lot of these Disney Channel creators and producers, and in that book she makes it pretty clear that Miley still got to do a lot of things like Can't Be Tamed. She was signed under Hollywood Records with Can't Be Tamed. She still got to do a lot of things that other Disney stars couldn't do, because she just like was like, well, I'm doing them. So she did have a little bit of control there. So I want to point that out because I think out of all the Disney Channel stars there have been, I think she's had actually a lot of say in what she's done.
Yeah.
I think this really starts obviously when she tries to break out of Disney Channel. She is under Hollywood Records with Can't Be Tamed. Can't Be Tamed literally drops while Hannah Montana season 4 is airing, and that'll always be so freaking funny to me.
I agree.
Like so iconic.
Yeah. It's like no wonder she's been in a scandal since she's been on TV.
Literally. Her single Can't Be Tamed was pulled and blackballed from radio as Hollywood Records preserved the song as too mature and controversial. And it's rumored that this caused her to be kicked off the Disney Channel. I think it was like a mutual thing that she wanted to leave the Disney Channel, but
that's why she did that.
Remember. Yes, yeah, exactly. I do remember like Can't Be Tamed really didn't really do well on the charts. That album, the single,
no,
compared to the rest of her discography, it really didn't do well. And I could definitely believe that it's because it didn't get promo, it didn't get radio play. Hollywood Records is not going to push something that they don't believe in or they don't deem as, represents them well. After her album Can't Be Tamed, she did get signed to RCA Records, and then that's where she went on to release, bangers through Plastic Hearts, right? When she started working with RCA, she releases bangers. It's very successful, sells over 270,000 copies in the first week. When she does that, she works with Dr. Luke on bangers. And if you guys don't know, Dr. Luke, POS, he literally did the worst crimes towards Kesha. I mean, it's like you have to be living under a rock if you don't know all the lore with that. It doesn't stop Katy Perry from working with him, but that's a whole other thing. She releases Miley Cyrus and Her Dead Pets for free under Miley's own label because RCA didn't want her to release it, so she had to do it under her own label. And that's when we talk about it all the time, but that's when I realized, like, okay, she doesn't really care about the money. When she wants to do something, she just does it. Yeah. But obviously, it is kind of weird when it's like an artist has to go to the lengths of just putting it out on SoundCloud because a label doesn't believe in them enough to let them release it under them. That's kind of weird to me. Like, what other artist has done that?
Well, the other artists probably just don't put out the music then.
Probably. They probably don't. They're probably like, fine, you win. I'll do it. I'll do something what you want to do. Yeah, that's true. So obviously there's like now this kind of tension, I feel like, between RCA and Miley because she's doing all that. I'm sure that doesn't look good for RCA. This is when I think some shit really hit the fan. So in 2016, Miley spoke out in favor of Kesha during the Dr. Luke versus Kesha court ruling.
Obviously.
And Dr. Luke, obviously, she's always been like for like the girls, like for women, as she should be. But she always has been very vocal, especially in this era. She was always online sharing her opinions, posting selfies with dirt under her nails, whatever, tripping on acid. But people think that this caused the remaining of Miley's projects under RCA to be blackballed and significantly underperformed because RCA wasn't doing the promo or pushing it out like they were for other artists. And looking back, I'm like, okay, because right after this, Younger Now happened, which was her worst performing album.
It was her worst, but I believe that she did almost most of like the most promo she's ever done.
But I think that's because she wanted to.
I don't know, especially being the way that we think back on that era and how she doesn't remember doing most of the things she was doing.
She doesn't
I don't know. She was kind of everywhere. She was performing everywhere. She was on every show.
But then that's even weirder because then why did it only sell 45,000 units the first week when she was doing so much press? Like, was it just not getting pushed to radio? I don't know what would have been different with it because Malibu did great.
Malibu did great, but that's the only one.
That's the only one. And then
none of the other songs are like really GP friendly. I mean, which actually, thinking back too, everyone was like, "Oh yes, Miley's back to country. We're so happy." And then they're like, "Oh, my God, but not like that."
Country. It's not like this. I'm sure there's country influences, but this is not a country album.
It's more rap. Look at, she's literally Elvis on her.
Ugh, she's literally Elvis. Yeah. No, I completely agree.
I mean, it is strange given all that the sales.
It is kind of weird. Like right after she had that thing happen with Dr. Luke, and then after she pushed out the free Dead Pets album, that she has her worst commercially successful album.
Well, yeah, I guess that makes sense, sadly. She disrespected the label.
I know. I'm just so like, because I don't know anything about record labels.
I don't
Like,
either,
I have no
honestly.
idea. And I'm so intrigued, like, how they work and, like, the dark sides of record labels.
Mm-hmm.
It just, like, fascinates me because I have no idea. But obviously in 2020, she releases Midnight Sky, which would serve as her lead single for Plastic Hearts. And this is something that baffles me to this day because Midnight Sky did not really do that well either.
No,
Compared to what it, like, should have been. Like, I still, to this day, even with End of the World being out, Midnight Sky is my favorite Miley Cyrus lead single for an album.
Yeah.
And it did not do great. Like it did great, don't get me wrong, but like compared to
it should have been a hit. I agree.
Right? Isn't that so weird? And this is another era where she did a lot of promo. She was active on her social media.
Yeah.
But I remember her being very active on her social media during this time. It was set to be Miley's biggest radio week of her career, but it was eventually pulled from radio by her label, which is, now looking back, I'm like, I really don't remember hearing it on the radio that much. Midnight Sky.
I wasn't really listening to the radio at that point, so.
I know, but even out in like public, like, you know, when you're like out in public.
True, you never like walked into a store and been like, oh, you guys hear that? It's Midnight Sky.
In the wild. Like, I just heard Doctor in the Wild at the gym, and I Snapchatted Becky. I was like, I was like sound on, and it was just me like gagged in the locker room because Doctor was playing. I'm like,
that's
what
wild.
The actual fuck? That is wild.
Yeah, here in 2025, like, wild.
Even though it like literally just came out last year. But it wasn't, anyway, yeah. Out of all of her songs, I'm like, really? Stream End of the World, bitch. So her album was released November 2020. There were, I do remember this. When the album was released, there was no physical copies available. Like, I remember, look, it says Cyrus apologizes to fans for Plastic Hearts being unavailable on release date. She says she wasn't told major retailers. Yeah, I remember this. This is kind of taking me back. Told major retailers don't stock physical albums on Black Friday and won't get copies of Plastic Hearts until a few weeks after the release. In this day and age, and even in 2020, people were like, still, people are collecting vinyls. Yeah. Like, cult fandoms love a vinyl, even CDs. Like, people buy that. I remember I bought like 3 freaking Plastic Heart CDs because they had a black and white version.
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta get that. And then one of mine broke. So I had to buy another one. So I could, I'm not going to say.
What?
I was using them as
herbal refreshments.
For my the one that broke. Yes. Herbal. I was putting herbal refreshments on it. That's what I meant to. I was like, what do I usually say that is? So yeah, she says, a response to my fans during this time. My fans are everything to me. To know y'all are disappointed when going out to stores and checking stock to be let down, I'm equally, if not more, frustrated. When choosing the date, the suggested date, she kind of clocked them with this. When choosing 11/27, the suggested date for album release, my team and I were never told major retailers don't stock. Blah, 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 blah. The packaging of the record is intimate, honest, a visual reflection of my sound. It was created by me, personally at home, making art for you. I want it in your hands. I've outgrown blame. It's a waste of time and energy. This album was a labor of love, and nothing can sabotage my admiration for the record my collaborators and I have created. Wow. Imagine if she like did that today. Like if she made a little like post like that, a response to my fans.
Yeah, it's actually like, I feel like it's been so long since we've gotten that I've like forgotten what it was like. And so now it does make this feel like, oh, she did. She was really nice. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And it was only 5 years ago she was doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Plastic Hearts only sold 60,000 units first week. Just a little bit more than Younger Now.
Yeah.
So then she signs to Columbia Records in 2021, which we do love that she finally got out of RCA. We talk about it all the time. We're like, we thank the heavens above that she is with Columbia. Okay, she has her comeback album, Endless Summer Vacation. Austin Lynn says this caused her comeback album to underperform due to the lack of promotion and no longer being able to be relatable.
Oh, the
first
one
when I
above
read
said that her
this,
social media was taken.
yes, yeah. So that's when, I don't know if it was like taken. That's the thing. Do we know if her social media was taken, or did she just say, I don't want to be on social media anymore? Like, we
And
don't know
that's
that.
tough. That's like tough to clock, kind of, because it's being that her era was the endless summer vacation. Like,
Yeah.
which is it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, and she had all that anxiety. Like, what if she was just like, yo, I need
Yes.
to get off this toxic shit.
Yes. I think
I'm
that
sick
it's
of
kind of a
seeing stuff.
coincidence with these things happening to her, honestly.
Yeah.
The anxiety, the era, and just when this all happened to come around the same.
Yeah, I agree. And I think what a lot of people got excited and their hopes up that endless summer vacation is over. Miley's going to come back. She's going to do all this stuff to promote something beautiful. And it hasn't happened yet, which I think the people that got their hopes up, that like hurt them because they're like, wait,
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
thought she was over endless summer vacation. But her Instagram post, what are your feelings on these Instagram posts she's been posting? Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus's fans.
Yeah. I honestly haven't like thought about them one way or another. I think when I first read it, I was like, oh, okay, we're running in third person now. But I think that it's the vibe that she wants right now. I think
Yeah.
that she's doing this on purpose. That's the way that she wants this to be portrayed.
Mm-hmm.
She is we're getting like different production than we've ever gotten before, so the socials have to be different, right? The socials have to match the
Yes.
project. That's part of it.
Yeah, I do think there's a reasoning for this, like for the socials to be coming off like this. I don't think it's just out of thin air. Like, I think there is a purpose. So I definitely agree with you there. So somebody like messaged us, and I kind of want to read it out loud because it is how I feel right now about this situation. They kind of said
Okay.
everything. They said, I got to ask, how do y'all feel about Stan Twitter and end of the world? How do we feel about the streets? I 100% am on the for the arts, not the charts team. I love that we have the team named that.
Teams.
But
here we go.
yes. But it is kind of disappointing how End of the World hasn't blown up yet. I keep reminding myself that there's still a whole album and a film coming that has Flowers' potential commercial-wise, which isn't important at all. She's proven herself for 20 years, time and time again. I just wish the hype and recognition she's gotten since Flowers would trickle over to this as well. I feel like Columbia was such a good move for her. I don't think they would pull an RCA and drop the ball with her like stans are saying. I say stans lightly because they stay online completely bashing and dragging her. So how much of a fan are they really? LOL, sorry for the rant, but y'all would understand a 90s kid lifelong obsession with Miley Cyrus more than anyone else. It's true. Like,
No,
guys,
every
you
word.
can't be.
I agree.
You can't, yes, exactly. That's how I feel right now. Like, I obviously wish. I'm not saying like we don't want her to have this commercial success. Like, I was living when Flowers was everywhere, and it still is. But at the end of the day, like you said, she's not going to have a Flowers every time. She's just not. Especially with the weird indie kind of art music that she likes. Like with Something Beautiful.
Yes.
It's not going to happen. She said that Dead Pets is her favorite album she's ever made. She said that previously.
Yeah.
And it's her least commercially successful album.
Right.
So it's like, I think that there is potential still. We still have 10 more songs we haven't heard.
Right.
I am also going to say I'm surprised End of the World isn't blowing up more than it has. I personally thought it was going to be a big banger, but I mean, we still have time. It literally just came out.
And yeah, we only got a week of anticipation to build with it, right? And that's just the rollout that they chose. Again, because she doesn't really care to go to the top of the charts. She just wanted to get it out, probably to get something out prior to the album. I think that it'll be a grower, honestly.
I think it's still going up on TikTok. Our friend Evan plays it 20 times a day, so he's really getting all the streams in.
Yes, great work.
So the rest of this thread, I mean, they mentioned the Modern Mystery School, the cult that she was in. I just wonder where she's at with that, if she still hangs out with those girls that she was around in like 2023. Who knows?
I'm interested about that.
Yeah. And then apparently, I didn't know this, but when she was awarded the Youngest Disney Legend Award, her acceptance speech is now edited by her team on YouTube. And it deletes the area where she's talking about her 2013 Bangers era.
Where it's rumored that they create all of us Disney kids. I definitely wasn't created in a lab, and if I was, there must have been a bug in the system which caused me to malfunction somewhere between the years of 2013 and 16.
One of the eras that makes her Miley Cyrus. That's crazy.
One of her most successful eras. And they also pointed out that they think that she was forced to attend the 2025 Oscars, feeling overwhelmed on the way to the Oscars after party in the backseat of a car. Miley cut her bangs and bleaches her eyebrows. All signs of a mental breakdown for being controlled. That's what I said. Austin, this is a reach. I don't think that's a sign of being controlled. That's just her, like we said, just being Miley, being
strange how it like perfectly matched the dress that she was wearing.
Literally. I think that was just her being her.
That one's a reach, yeah.
Yeah.
She's taking fashion risks all over the place. Like that was just another one.
Someone mentioned the Calvin Harris collab where he was trying to release Ocean, but it was shelved due to issues with Miley's team approving the song. He responded to comments that he was trying to release it, but Miley's team did not authorize the release.
Yeah.
Whether that was her, I feel like that was her.
I do too.
I feel like she changed her mind with this Something Beautiful visual album. Like she does. She always does.
She scrapped a whole 2 EPs that were going to make a gigantic album. Like
what that could have been. She is Miley era.
I can't think about it. I'll get sad.
I'll get sad because I love She Is Coming. So to think that there was like more of that, possibly, it like hurts my heart. And then apparently Miley's mom, Tish Cyrus, was seen interacting with infamous conservator Lou Taylor, who I only know her because she was Britney Spears' former business manager. And Lou Taylor is a bad woman.
Whoa.
There's a lot of allegations against her. You could go down a whole YouTube like spiral with Lou Taylor stuff. She is the reason, a huge reason why Britney was stuck in her conservatorship and why Britney went through a lot of the things she went through was because of her and her dad, of course. And, you know, her mom didn't help either. But so I guess Lou Taylor Tish posted on Instagram and was like, thanks Lou Taylor for sending me this gift or whatever. And it was one of those like, so they're kind of like in contact. That was in 2023. But I feel like Tish Cyrus is one of those women that is just so nice to everyone. And she's not one that's like, I don't know. I feel like she probably doesn't know the lore like we do. She's probably not.
That might be true.
Mm-hmm. She's probably just like, oh, another woman in the industry that's around my age.
Yeah.
Like she probably doesn't know. She probably didn't know about a lot of that stuff. That's my defense on Tish.
Yeah. I would say that too.
Yeah, that was kind of the end of the thread. I just thought it was good to talk about some of those points while we're on the topic of why is Miley not doing promo? She should be. She shouldn't be. It's like we all need to just come together and be Miley Cyrus fans.
Hello.
Yes, we can have our opinions. We're all allowed to have our opinions, but to publicly like attack her at her family members, at her team, just is not a good look.
Inappropriate.
It's kind of crazy.
It's
very
not a good look.
Parasocial. That's like the line. Like you cannot do that.
Yes. I'm looking at these and it's like, I'm blocking her. Let me know when she does something. And it's like this person's name on Twitter is like, I love Miley Cyrus. And it's like, well, do you? Like, do you like the song that came out? Yes or no? That's the issue here, right? Like, if you like it, you like it. And if you don't, you don't. And guess what? Here's the thing about all those numbers that we just talked about in that thing, like the flopped albums, the flopped singles, flops, if that's what you want to call it, because I don't know that I would, okay? Because me, a Miley Cyrus consumer, enjoyed. Did you?
Yes, I did.
Enjoyed it all.
I'm sure many other artists out here, if they saw you calling what she did a flop, they would be like, wow, then what the hell is my shit?
Exactly. And
she's still up there.
It's like, hey, guys, not everybody in this whole world has to like Miley Cyrus. Miley's music is not palatable for the entire world.
Uh-huh.
Miley Cyrus music is for smilers like you
Yes.
that are tweeting
Yes.
badly about her. Why are you doing that? Do you like it? Then enjoy it. You don't have to. You don't have to force this, and the label can do it all at once. We were talking about the Younger Now era and the Plastic Hearts era, and how much promo she did, and how much she was out there, and it still didn't sell. I'm sorry, but like sometimes that's what happens when people don't like this music. They don't have to.
Yeah.
We can think it's good. It's not objectively good.
Yeah.
It's music.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, I completely agree. And honestly, to me, she doesn't have to be on the level of Taylor Swift.
No.
If anything, I kind of like that she's not.
Just because she's been around for 20 years doesn't mean that that's like a shoo-in to go number one all of the time.
Yes, I completely agree. Especially when
I also agree that I love it that she's not as big as Taylor Swift, because wouldn't that be a little boring?
Clocked. No, yeah. I mean, she's just very unique. Like, she's not everybody's cup of tea. That's the beauty of it.
That's like her whole shtick.
It literally is. She's an artist. Something else. There was one more thing I wanted to ask you before we hop off.
Well, I just want to say, like, bottom line of that whole thread.
What do we think of that?
As far as, like, being controlled by her team and her label.
Or sabotaged.
Oh, sabotaged. I was going to say, like,
which could you see either one?
The controlling and the going, like, steering in one direction or the other. Is that not the point of being in a label? Is trusting them to market and trusting them to take this album where they believe that it should go. Yeah. If she wanted to do whatever the fuck she wanted, she would stay under that Miley Cyrus label that she did Dead Pets under.
No, it's true.
And that's what other independent artists do. And independent artists are not as big because they don't have the team.
Yeah, I feel like being on an independent artist would be triple the amount of work, if not more.
Yes.
And I'm sure she does not want to deal with that. No, I think she's having a good thing with Columbia right now. And people are always going to nitpick. People are always going to... That you can never do anything right. People were asking, like, what tracks we claimed. And I know that I said I claimed track number 9, right? Do you remember what you claimed? What number?
I feel like I said 4.
Okay, so 9, 4. Somebody said, like, top 3 tracks you want to claim. I'm claiming 9.
So of the 3 that haven't come out yet, we can't include those?
You can include those.
Okay, go ahead. What are yours?
I'm claiming 9, 12, and 6.
Whoa, okay. Well, I did 4. I also was going to say 12. And how about 8?
Okay, I'm writing
these down, guys. Write that down.
I did. I wrote that down. I wrote that down. Miley Madness officially ended today. As we're recording this. Angels Like You won, which it won't be a spoiler.
Wow.
I think it was like 140 something votes. Let's see. This was an interesting one. I'm just really glad The Climb didn't win this year. So Angels Like You got 142 votes, and then Jaded got 118 votes. And those were the 2 finals. Which sister songs competing against each other. I know. I never realized until they were up against each other.
We had so many people in the comments and in our messages being like, this was the hardest vote I've ever made in my life.
It kind of is.
It was hard. A lot of them were hard once we got into it.
What'd you choose for the last 2? Angels Like You or Jaded?
I think I chose Angels Like You.
I think I chose Angels Like You too. It was hard, but Angels Like
Those
You
are
just
sister
like
songs.
When I hear it, it just feels so timeless and classic.
I agree.
And emotional.
Well, I think that about Jaded too. It was hard.
It was hard. It was hard. So we have last year's winner was The Climb in 2024. And then this year, 2025 champion is Angels Like You. And so next year, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. It was really fun this year.
It was much better this year that we had them as actual fan picks.
Yes, I completely agree. It made it way more competitive.
last year we just had an AI bot make it for us, and it was like, I don't know.
Why?
It did
was
make
just so
it more
random.
competitive. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, we're about to hop over to the Patreon. We're going to talk about this Vogue interview with Bradley Kenneth, talking all about Mugler and Miley Cyrus.
I think I'm going to get some blue in my hair for this Vogue magazine reading.
Blue going on.
Where's that inspiration coming from?
I don't know. I like a little edge and a little pop in my hair, so I wanted to add something different, especially for the Teen Vogue party.
I got a little blue in my hair for the Vogue magazine reading. Yeah.
That is too funny. You know, during COVID, when I was like absolutely batshit crazy, I did get some like really cheap, shitty extensions. And I went out a few nights with these like blue strips in my hair. And I thought I was really feeling Selena Gomez 2008 at the Teen Vogue Young Hollywood party. That's what I was feeling.
I'm sure
I
you
thought
looked.
it was badass. I was trying to give Avril, but I was giving Selena Gomez Teen Vogue party.
Oh, and that's a difference.
It is a difference.
Quite the difference.
Anyway, guys, thank you for listening this week. Catch us on
Sorry I yelled at
Patreon.
you the whole time. Had to say
Yeah.
it. I've been, you know what? Better I yell here than screaming at every other tweet I see. I've been really having to hold myself back. I'm like, Becky, don't get canceled on Twitter.
Yeah.
I'll just get canceled on my podcast instead. Just yell at me down below. Yell at me
Clock
back.
us in the comments below. No, seriously, let us know what you think.
I know you will.
I know you will. Okay.
Bye,
Have a good one,
guys.
Thank you. Bye.